Casey's Coast to Coast.
Well, now we're up to the latest hit for a group that landed its record contract with a bold move. It was back in late 1993 that the Backstreet Boys were trying to land their big break. They knew they had the talent, the style, and the looks to make it. All they needed was the record company. Their managers, Johnny and Donna Wright, also knew they had the right stuff. And so they shopped their tapes to every record company that would let them through the front door. But they knew that to really appreciate this energetic young group, they had to be experienced live. And so when one record company expressed a little interest, they jumped at the opportunity. One night during a spirited performance at a club, Donna called the offices of Jive Records from her cellular phone. It was late and she figured no one would be there, but the answering machine would be on. And after a few words of introduction, Donna walked over to the side of the stage, held up the phone, and let the answering machine tape capture the group's high-energy performance. Well, that really got the attention of an A&R man at Jive Records, and it wasn't long before the Backstreet Boys had their contract. Now, for 2 weeks in a row, their latest hit is our biggest mover on Casey's Top 40.
American Top 40.
We're playing the biggest hits in the USA, and rising 2 notches to number 8 are the Backstreet Boys. The 5-man group is currently on tour, but a few weeks ago, member A J McLean was sidelined after straining a thigh muscle in Toronto. He's better now and back on the road. Here he is singing with the Backstreet Boys on I'll Never Break Your Heart.
Baby. Counting down the hits with Casey Kasem.
Now we're up to the latest hit for a super hot male vocal group who last year shared a stage with singing legend Tony Bennett at Tony Bennett's personal request. Last November, Tony Bennett appeared on the VH1 music show called Storytellers. Along with highlighting the singing of a different music icon every week, the show also tries to match them up with a newer talent, someone who was influenced by their singing. In the case of Tony Bennett, there were a lot of possible pairings to choose from. So the show's producers decided to leave it up to Tony himself. They asked him what current act really spoke to him with their music. What act did he think was really drawing from his sound? Without hesitation, he gave them his answer. Tony said, the Backstreet Boys. Turns out, Tony Bennett does a great job of keeping up to date on what's happening in modern music. And he said he's been really impressed with the phrasing and the harmonies used by the Backstreet Boys, which is how the Backstreet Boys came to appear with Tony Bennett on Storytellers, where they sang 3 songs of their own with him and then joined Tony for his song, Swingin' on a Star. A song they sang with him with no rehearsal other than a quick version in the dressing room and a second run-through at the sound check. This week, the Backstreet Boys are singing one of their own hits on American Top 40. With survey song number 32, here they are with All I Have to Give.
For Casey Kasem, I'm Ed McMann. Now we're up to the big hit, I Want It That Way, by a vocal group who have dreams of what they'd like to be if their stardom disappears. This quintet has been together since 1993, and though they didn't become known in the United States until 1995, they found almost overnight success in Europe, which means that for 6 years now, they've been stars. A long time for a group whose members are in their late teens to mid-20s. The youngest member of the group, Nick, says he'd love to go back to his first dream of one day being a professional basketball player. Kevin says what he'd like to do is be an Air Force pilot. Brian says the people he's always respected the most in his life are school teachers. Howie D says that his dream is to build cities. And AJ says there are dozens of things he'd like to be, and none of them include being a pop star. He says doing that once is more than enough for a lifetime. But like it or not, the members of this group are pop stars. Here are the Backstreet Boys with I Want It That Way.
Yeah. Counting down the hits with Casey Kasem.
Now we're up to the song Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely by the Backstreet Boys, a supergroup whose members say it's easy to live a normal life. It's all about timing. It's a problem many celebrities have run into over the years, the problem of balancing the adulation of their fans with living a real life. Some go out in disguise, some travel with bodyguards, and some simply stop going out in public altogether. The members of the Backstreet Boys say they aren't about to go into seclusion, but they also recognize that they have to change their lives one way or another. Group member A J McLean says, quote, "You learn to live with it. You find yourself strategically changing your lifestyle," unquote. Interestingly, one of those changes is that the members of this group have taken up the game of golf. Why? AJ says, quote, "We know we're not going to find a bunch of 13-year-olds running around a golf course," unquote. Group member Brian Luttrell adds that if you go to a movie, you go to a matinee when the kids are in school. If you go to the grocery store, you go at 10 in the morning on a weekday. As they say, it's all timing, which allows this group to live as normal a life as can be lived by one of the hottest acts around today. This week, the super popular Backstreet Boys are singing survey song number 19, a song they have a hard time relating to.
Show me the meaning of being lonely.
We're playing the biggest hits in the USA by the biggest stars in the world. The Backstreet Boys are world stars, 5 of them, who recently had to cancel a string of concerts. It happened after group member A J McLean revealed he needed professional help dealing with depression and alcohol abuse. AJ is currently in rehab, and the group is slated to resume their tour on August the 7th in Vancouver, British Columbia. Here on the survey, the Backstreet Boys are down a notch to number 18 with More Than That.